Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 19th hole. We are live on In Between Media. Make sure you like, subscribe, jingle the bell. We have reached the fifth major of the year, which is the first major of the year, the Players' Championship at Ponte Vedra Beach at TPC Sawgrass, home of the Island Green, home of not a single repeat champion in 50 years. Will we see the first one this year? You'll have to check it out. Join us right now. Well, Connor, we meet again.
Fashionably late, I see.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about day jobs is they don't let you go if you're the only show in town. Let's party.
I'm all about the party.
What is this referring to?
I mean, I think we all know that, don't we?
I didn't know it was disguising anything. Let's go, Breezy. Let's go. Slade is in the house. Your fearless leader, Seth Wilcock, is ready to party. I'm ready to party. It's fucking Players Week. Let's go.
I want to know if Breezy hit some more money on us last week.
I mean, yeah, we both said if you're going to bet on a short odds favorite, if Scottie Scheffler can putt at all, we both said this. You said if he has a flat putter, he's going to win. I said if he just doesn't mess up, he's going to win. And he didn't mess up, and he had a good putter, not just a good putter. On Sunday, he gained 3.89 strokes putting just on Sunday in a 66 at Bay Hill. Are you fucking kidding me? That's insanity. That is like, it doesn't matter if you're Scottie Scheffler or anybody. You shoot a 66 on Sunday in those conditions at Bay Hill. Everybody else is over par. This guy's out there just like, well, I didn't have any bogeys today. Yeah. Well, I mean, he looked like he was playing a whole different course.
That's what he does every week. The only difference is normally he can't find a broadside of the barn with a putter, but I mean,
he figured that out.
Yeah, I really hope he sent Rory like a nice bottle of wine or something to thank him for telling him to switch putters.
Yeah, I mean, we have to call him Scott Scheffler from now on because of that nice beard. Welcome to the Beard Club, Scott Scheffler.
And he's looking good. I mean, I thought he was looking good. He better keep that.
Dapper. He looked dapper. He said he might shave it. He hadn't shaved it yet today. So, yeah, a few hundred with Scottie. Good job. We probably told you not to play Cam Young, Breezy, so that's on you.
Matter of fact, I know we did.
You shouldn't play Cam Young this week either. I'm just saying, to get it out of the way. Let's get that out of the way. Are you drinking anything, Connor?
So I actually am drinking Coors Light tonight.
Silver Bullets.
I thought this might go a little long, so figured I shouldn't get all super jacked up on whiskey. So we'll be enjoying the ice cold Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, I mean, tap the Rockies. The mountains are blue. I'm going with a classic, and I have an extra bottle of this, so I'm going to polish the rest of the Whistle Pig Piggyback Rye, aged 6 years. Delicious, perfect for your old-fashioned, perfect for your Manhattan rye-based cocktails. I like to drink it neat because I'm a neat guy. And there's exactly one shot left of this bottle. So cheers to you.
Cheers to you, sir.
And let's get after this, man. Pitter patter, let's get at her. What do you say we hit the caddy notes drop and we'll get right into TPC Sawgrass because this course is fun. Fun. Yeah.
I was gonna say we got plenty to talk about, so
yes, sir. Let's hop right on it.
I put my head down, take a sip of beer, and I started fist bumping. And then I looked up, and you were doing it, and we were both in unison. I was like, I can't.
How can you not? How can you not? I mean, if your toe's not tapping with that drop, then check your pulse, man. You might be dead.
Oh God, that's just a sign you and I spend too much time together.
That's the most calories you burned today, isn't it?
Oh no, actually, no, not that anybody cares, but I've been doing all kinds of household shit. I'm painting a room. I'm running around, doing some yard stuff. Trying to. Spring is here.
Seth's gonna chase his losses with us. That's a good idea since we had a rough week on the NASCAR circuit. I love NASCAR. I haven't betted in a really, really long time, but I might have to get on it. If you guys get on a hot streak, let me know because I might want to chase my wins from the golf.
I did okay on F1. I did not do well on NASCAR. So
yeah. So TPC Sawgrass, short course, par 72. Why is everybody saying this course is hard for some reason? I mean, Pete Dye really that big of a deal? I mean, he must have been a total loony bin type guy with some of the courses he's designed.
I've never heard of him. So hopefully that's something I'm seeing a die. No, yeah, it's it is TPC Sawgrass, like you said, Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, par 72, 72-75 on the yardage book. Bermuda in the fairway, Bermuda on the greens. It really is a good all around test. It was designed specifically to test every aspect of the game. Believe it's been held here since 1981. I think that's actually when they opened the place, wasn't it?
50th edition this year. So
there's plenty of trouble here. Lots of water in place. As a matter of fact, I think it's on 17 of 18 holes. so there's plenty of it, including the famous island green on 17, which is just a good watch, I think.
They should call it the Isthmus green because it's not completely waterlogged. Just saying.
And I'm sure we'll see some people landing on that little
17
strip of land.
Yeah. On the archipelago.
We're off to a good start.
Yes, we had geography terms already hitting the show. Yeah, this course is brutal. I mean, I heard a rumor that they had actually switched. They had blended in some Poana into the greens recently to give them extra crusty, bumpy, late afternoon type of roll to them. But this is a Bermuda, Florida course, right?
I do think that might be a little bit needed though, because I think the greens are going to be a lot more receptive and soft. Just as this tournament has been moved up, after a few years, we're now into March, so it's still a little bit soft. I think it does make these greens a little more gettable, but they are some of the smallest greens on tour. So
they have lots of undulations.
Plenty. You're going to have dudes missing this thing, or missing greens left and right. So you're going to want guys that can scramble. Matter of fact, almost every single winner has gained at least 2 to 3 strokes scrambling each week at this tournament.
And wedges. Who are the great wedge players, right? That's what we want.
Either that or the guys that are nails from about 200 plus, which is the other kind of key iron range to look at.
200 plus or sub 150. Take your pick, right?
Yeah, exactly. The short irons or the long irons. You're going to need them both here. Off the tee game actually has proven to be a bit of a differentiator. It is important here, and not necessarily in the distance aspect, but you do have to be able to place the ball either left side of fairway, right side of the fairway to set yourself up for a lot of the approaches. So guys that are able to shape off the tee and be accurate with it, especially, are gonna give you a bit of an edge. Like I already alluded to, a lot of the approach shots are going to be coming from 200 plus. The greens are pretty damn hard to hit. There's some of the least hit greens on tour. Recovery stats, like I said already, and then just keep in your head that the accuracy, no matter what part of the game you're looking at, is important here. The weather is the other thing that can come into play. It looks like Thursday, Saturday are going to be pretty tame. Friday, Sunday are going to be gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour, and it's sometimes a day. I think where it's most important is probably looking at getting your guys through the cut. If you have the opportunity to do like a PM AM split Thursday, Friday, If it lines up with guys that are rating well for you, I would lean that way. If you're looking for a tiebreaker, look at the wave split on the tee time. So projected winning score, I'm going to say probably somewhere around 18 under. Tends to be somewhere in the mid to high teens as it is, and I do think it's going to be a little more gettable this year. Yeah. Cut is normally around 3 over, 2 to 3 over, probably looking a stroke or two better. So I'd say somewhere even to +2 would be your cut line. Scottie Scheffler won here 17 under last year. Cam Smith the year before at 13 under. Justin Thomas 14 under the year before that. Rory 16 under, and Webb Simpson at 18 under the prior year.
There's a name.
Yes. Don't play Webb Simpson this week.
Not this year. Maybe if we had a time machine, go back to Webb Simpson's prime. Yeah, I mean, this course has so much variance, like you said. The winning score should be pretty darn good. I mean, considering how tough this place can be, there's still gettable holes. And if you have a guy in good form, that's who wins, is the guy who's in good form and doesn't make those catastrophic errors that everybody else is going to make. Because the variance is every bit of this course. Is Pete Dye is literally mind-fucking golfers while he's designing this course. He says, if you hit it here, you think you want to hit it here, but if you hit it here, you're screwed. And if you hit it somewhere else, like if you plan your way around this golf course successfully, then that's what you do, is you plan each shot individually to set up your next one. If you don't do that, you're absolutely out of position. And I mean, you didn't even mention how many bunkers are on this golf course. I believe 99, and some of them are across the entire length of the fairway.
Like I said, this place has got teeth everywhere you look. And you kind of hit on it with Pete Dye. I mean, one of the challenging things on any Dye course, and having played one multiple times last week myself, is some of the sight lines and some of the target landing zones are just they're not necessarily readily like obvious as you're looking at them. It's a lot of kind of odd alignments, a lot of odd shapes you got to be able to put on the ball. Some really tricky landing distances. So
you were shaping it though, weren't you?
I will say this. I don't think I had a 3-putt all week, which was awesome. And I was
strength of our game.
Striping the ball off the tee. That was where it ended, though. Wedge game was abysmal.
You got to have good wedge game on the Pete Dye courses, man.
I will tell you, my wife almost had 2 hole-in-ones, though. Shame, but I got my ass kicked by my 75-year-old father by a good margin every day.
The one that's played Pebble Beach 9 times without you?
He's played everywhere. He still gets around, man. He probably gets around better than I do. So,
Mr. Coughlin, you are a gentleman and a scholar, and we bow down to you.
We all should be so lucky,
right?
But
all right, so you got stats to build around. I'm thinking wedge game, scrambling, and more wedge game. Like I've put so much on strokes gained tee to green, but then another extra emphasis on around the green and scrambling and strokes gained short game.
I'm with you. I had scrambling. I had around the green. I had the 125 to 150 bucket on approach proximity. I did look quite a bit at par 3 scoring and par 5 scoring, just to see where we're going to have guys having more opportunities than others. But yeah, off the tee was kind of one of the things I weighted right up there with just overall approach. And specifically, I kind of paired it in tandem with fairways and, good drives gained. Just kind of looking at where guys are setting up accuracy wise. Are they able to set themselves up for a good second shot? So I think that's super important this week. Bordering on as important as a solid approach game.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hit the club twirls drop and look for another winner. I mean, it's never happened before. We never got a back-to-back winner at the Players. Scottie Scheffler won here by 5 shots last year and last week. The dude, when he's on, is the best in the world. And when he's slightly off, he's still probably the best in the world. So
turns out he's the best.
Yeah, what are you going to do? He's the number 1 golfer in the world. We're going to cover his odds right after this drop. Chad, Thad, and Brad.
We got to do something about those guys.
It's a drop about club twirls with nary a club twirl. But you just know that those guys on their one solid flush shot of their round, the only one, they're twirling that club, guaranteed.
Oh, they're twirling everything. I guarantee you those guys are twirling putts.
Yeah. Oh, you're 20 yards short of the green. Twirled anyway.
Twirl it. And get another White Claw, damn it.
Yeah, truly. All right. Scottie Scheffler plus 550. Is it too short, Connor?
I think it is. Here.
Yeah. But he won by 5 last year.
I think the thing with Scottie right now is like the greens that Scottie was on last week are exceedingly easier than the greens he's going to be on this week. So yeah, he's making a believer out of me that maybe he's found something with the putter after his performance last week. But to jump back on him at incredibly short odds with a lot of sharks right around him at way better odds, I just can't pull the trigger on the 550.
Thank you. Appreciate you agreeing with me so early in the show. Rory McIlroy plus 1,200. Too short? Yes or no, Connor?
I wouldn't say too short, but I don't like Rory here. He's really never done well here. And the other thing
for that one time.
Yeah, except for that one time. But if you look at the rest of his body of work, it's not great here. And you look at what he's just been. I mean, he just cannot play 4 solid rounds of golf. Can't do it.
And he can't hit a wedge. Like chipping, pitching, approach with the wedge. It's been awful. Few months. This guy's getting held back by his approach game. And for a guy as good off the tee as he is, it's not. These odds are too short for me. Just based on recent form and how the course absolutely does not fit his game.
No, and some of the great parts of his off the tee game, i.e., his amazing distance. I mean, is somewhat mitigated here. I don't think the distance is necessarily a strength. So yeah, I don't like how Rory sets up here. It's Rory McIlroy, so he might make us eat our words, but
yeah, he always has a puncher's chance, doesn't he?
Always. So, and hey, as a lifelong huge Rory fan, God, I hope he gets it together. I'd love to see Rory win this week, but
me too.
To get my money, I'm going to take a pass on Rory.
So the next two guys here, we're both huge fans of, especially this week. Wedge game. Xander Schauffele might have the best wedge game in the world, and right behind him, at a little bit longer odds, plus 2,200 on Justin Thomas, our favorite to win PGA Tour Comeback Player of the Year, your favorite to win outright damn Player of the Year. I think Scottie Scheffler's got that in the bag if he keeps up his form. But Justin Thomas's wedge game, historically and recently, is spot on, fantastic. And he's playing so well right now. We've been right about Justin Thomas this season. Xander Schauffele historically is the best wedge player in the world for my money, at least that's left in this field. I thought Cameron Smith was the best in the world and always one of my favorites at the Players. Xander Schauffele is the PGA Tour version of Cam Smith right now. So give me Xander and JT. I'm starting my betting slips with those two guys. And I don't think there's any real argument against it because I'm looking at a lot of soft odds because of how short Rory and Scottie are.
Yeah, so I'm not on Xander, and it's not that anything you said is wrong, and I totally get why somebody would bet Xander. The problem I have with Xander is he just doesn't finish. I mean, and that's I guess that's a narrative of sorts, but with guys right around him that I just frankly like better, who are a little more of a winning upside, yeah, I'll probably take a pass on Xander. But JT 100% in on him. And he's rating out right up there in terms of the last 24 to 36 rounds. Every aspect of his game is right up there with Scottie and Rory. I mean, he's chasing, he's, coming out usually, depending on how I run my model, anywhere from 3rd to 5th overall for all the recent form that he's had. And I think that that's why I'm just going to keep riding the JT train. He's a great course fit here. I'm not going to jump off of him. That's where my money's going, just to keep it short and succinct.
So you want to know my top three in my model? Scottie, Xander, JT.
Yeah. Probably followed by Cantlay. Has Cantlay right after JT?
Oh, I have to look. No, Sam Burns, interesting. Followed by Rory, then Russell Henley. Cantlay is 8th.
Yeah, I can't do the Russell Henley thing either.
I mean, I like Henley here, but I don't love him here because the field is so damn strong. And he's way down the list as far as odds go. Maybe throw a couple bucks on him, but there's so much talent at the top of this board. So much. Like we're gonna have to skip over some of these guys that absolutely could win this tournament, like Cantlay, like Morikawa. Like who can't see Morikawa winning here, other than the fact that these greens might eat him alive with the flat stick. Will Zalatoris, same thing. I love Will Zalatoris here until you get to putting, where he's the worst putter at TPC Sawgrass in the history of this tournament. Like, historically speaking, nobody has putted worse at TPC Sawgrass than Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, but Will Zalatoris also is a completely different putter now.
Is he? Because he's missed a lot of shorties lately, even with his new stroke, even with his new everything. It's still holding him back to a degree. He's making more putts, especially in scoring chances, but those 5-6 footers for par, he's still got a little shaky to him. And there's going to be a lot of those here. A lot.
Agree to disagree. I think Zalatoris is definitely I'm not sketched out at all. I think Zalatoris is a great play, and I think the odds are pretty nice, 35-1 for a guy that's showing up and been competing.
He's down to 30 now. Does that change your mind?
That's getting to a point where I might have to think about it a little more, but that puts him in the range with Morikawa, who despite being a good fit, hasn't done well here.
Cantlay's 28 though. That's nice for him.
Yeah, Cantlay and Xander have a similar track record here, though. They both, I think, between the two of them, they have like 6 missed cuts over the last 5 years. No, it's not. That's not great. So I think the guys right there that I've got interest in Spieth again. When you're talking about somebody who's got short game, great wedge game,
the best short game, period.
I mean, and so I think Spieth is very live here.
Speaking of great, this empanada, man.
That looked like a Taco Bell empanada.
It is. It's the new chicken one.
For God's sake.
I was surprised. The texture is really good. They must have deep fried it. Anything that's deep fried is good.
It sounded like a brick when you just sat it down.
Oh, it is. But it's actually mostly hollow. See?
Yeah. So tell your wife to get the antacids now. So yeah, Zalatoris I'm in on. I think he's going to continue to roll the way he has been. I'm not afraid of his putter. I think it's markedly improved. So yeah, we liked him on the approach game last week. I like him on the approach game this week. He's good from long distance. He's good from short distance. Yep. He tends to be one of the more accurate guys on those two metrics. So I definitely am in on Zalatoris again.
Ludwig Aberg.
Out.
Yep, me too. Hideki Matsuyama.
Out.
Interesting, right? Close, but out.
Yeah, I think the thing with Hideki that I don't like is I just never know where he's at. Like he just shows up and plays a few good rounds or whatever. He bitches and moans about his back over and over again. Like
he shoots 62 at Riviera and complains that he played like crap.
Yeah, you just never know where he's sitting at. So I think those are short for Hideki. Like if Hideki was more in that 45 to 50 range, I'd probably be a little more aggressive with betting Hideki.
You know who I'm going to bet extremely aggressively now?
Is he Irish?
Yeah. Yeah, he is. And he's on a real heater despite having 2 consecutive tournaments with a bad Sunday. This guy's playing out of his damn mind unconsciously well. And I believe Sunday is St. Patrick's Day.
I heard a rumor about that.
Yeah. It came up on the calendar this year that Sunday at the Players is St. Patrick's Day. And Shane Lowry on a real heater Like, this dude is out of his damn mind hot right now. He has the exact fit for this golf course that I want anyway, with the wedge game, the scrambling ability. The tougher this course gets, the more he's going to be live here. Give me the outright, the top 5 and the top 10 bets. I'm putting full units on each one of those for Shane Lowry. Unbelievable pick here because he's 40-1. 40-1 for a guy who's as hot as anybody.
Yeah, and a couple of things I like about him here, even more so than the last few weeks, he tends to be pretty good off the tee, pretty accurate. Definitely not a longer hitter, but his approach game is insane right now. Like he gained 4.2 strokes at the API. He gained almost 6.5 strokes at Cognizant. He hasn't lost strokes since beginning of this year. So
since the potato famine.
So there's just nothing to really poke a hole in where Shane Lowry's game's at right now. And
I think he wins.
I think he's going to put up a fighting chance. I really do. His scrambling has been out of control lately too. He hasn't gained any less than 2.5 strokes in his last 6 starts. So
sounds like the guy we're looking for.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep rolling with Shane Lowry too. I love him. I love him as an outright, and I love him in DFS too. So
I don't want him getting chalky. Right now he's leveraged as hell.
It's because it's Shane Lowry. He's always leveraged.
I know, because he never scores fantasy points. And, of course, everybody's jaded because they bet him the last 2 weeks. And he burned them twice. So let's keep the post-burn leverage intact. But keep your voice down about him in DFS until the time is right. I never bet Tommy Fleetwood outright. He's a popular outright bet in the marketplace right now. Don't bet Tommy Fleetwood outright. The dude has never won anything ever. Ever. Never wins.
He's not even really on my radar, at least not for an outright.
I shouldn't be.
I could see going after like a top 20, even maybe gambling, going a top 10. But
yeah,
if you want to get exposure to Tommy Fleetwood, I'd stick to DFS.
Yeah. Even then, he's not a very big scorer there either.
Yeah, but in conditions like this, I could see him hanging around enough and putting up enough points. You know what I mean? But we're not on that right now.
No. All right. Next group of guys: Siwoo Kim, Cameron Young, and our guy Min Woo Lee, as well as a guy who's just as hot as Lowry lately, who might not fit this course very well at all, Wyndham Clark. 50-1 for Wyndham Clark seems a little long for him with the way he's been playing.
Yeah, I'm really, really conflicted on Wyndham Clark, and I think that
he's so hot right now.
But I think he ends up not making my card because I really want to keep going with Min Woo. I think Min Woo he hasn't let me down yet, and I think he
needs to get a lesson from his sister. Honestly, his sister's so damn good.
But he's making a good argument that he could show her a couple of things. But what I was going to say with him is what continues to hold true is as it gets tougher, and as the conditions change and get tougher, he continues to be able to grind it out. And I think you're going to need both a guy who can grind a tough course and a guy who can grind a tough course in tough conditions here.
Grind on me.
So 50-1 on Min Woo. I think in that range, that's the guy I'm going with.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with you. Next here, two guys that neither one of us is going to touch. Corey Connors and Tony Finau. Nay and nay again. Don't even waste your time. Jason Day is here, which is intriguing because he's another tough golf course type of guy. Is he a winner bet? No, but he's a top 10, top 20 bet, kind of like our Fleetwood guy. But the guy I'm looking at here at 60-1, it's kind of insulting. Brian Harman. Brian Harman shows up.
I'll let you talk about Brian Harman because it's not for me.
How about Sahith Theegala?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I'll have a little piece of both of those guys. Not a big piece, but 60-1 for guys that are playing that well with the short games that they both have, the creativity with the wedge game that they both have. I can see one of those two guys climbing up and getting top 10, top 5 even.
I think the problem I've got with Theegala is, again, it depends on what off the tee Theegala we get.
He's been good lately. Been good off the tee.
but that can go sideways quick. And
Here, yeah, for sure here too.
and with Harman, I think the challenging thing with Harman is that the majority of his performances are carried by his putter. I'm not saying that he can't catch a hot hand on approach from time to time, but the majority of what he does is keep it accurate in the fairway, which is good. We want that here.
Yes.
But his approach game is not always great. He struggles to shape it both ways.
TD's here.
Oh, hey, what's up? So yeah, I probably take a pass on those two. Tom Hoagie and Ben On are the two that I'm looking at in that range.
I knew it.
And dude, Ben On.
I tweeted at Ben On this week. I said, "How you feeling, buddy?" He's very responsive on Twitter, especially to the bettors. He hasn't gotten back to me, but usually he does that after he plays.
He's like, "Yeah, you should have bet me."
He likes to clown the people that bet him unsuccessfully.
I mean, have you looked at what Ben On is doing?
He's hot. He's very hot.
It's wild. Like it's seriously wild.
He's like Scott. He's the poor man Scottie Scheffler because he learned how to putt.
Yeah, he's putting decent enough to get by, and he's gaining like 3.5 strokes on average off the tee, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's not usually where you gain the most strokes.
No, and even his approach, like outside of last week at API, he's been gaining on average about 3 strokes on approach as well. You just look at what he's doing. It's green across the board. He's got a T8, a T21, a T16, T31, T2, a 4th. Like, I mean, the dude is kind of on fire right now. And I said I'm looking for a couple of main things this week. I'm looking for gaining off the tee, gaining on approach, good around the green, scrambling wise, right?
Yeah.
And he does all those things, and he's on fire.
She loves that. Do it more. We're all about the fans. We're all about the in between media 19th hole fans here.
And then
like us.
And Tom Hoagie, before I lose my train of thought too much.
Tom Hoagie. I am fully out on Tom Hoagie.
I think that you should take a look at what Tom Hoagie's been doing because he's actually been on a really nice run too.
Let me see here. Let's see where he comes up in my modeling. Yeah. Well, I'm still scrolling. Well,
and we all know
there he is, 34th. Not good enough. 127th around the green. That's awesome, man. Dead fucking last in around the green game. It seems important, Connor.
I'm not going to argue with you about Tom Hoagie because we know I relegate him to the island of misfit toys at least every other week. So
yeah, I'm going to play Tom Hoagie, but you're going to be cursing him next week. I guarantee it.
I'll bet Tom Hoagie because he is unbelievable on approach. Unbelievable. He's gaining close to it. Like his last 3 starts, dude, he's averaging over 7 strokes on approach.
What have the results shown though?
T12, T28, and an 8th.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Will I bet him? No chance. He's dead to me.
Fargo, North Dakota, baby. Tom Hoagie.
Yeah. All right then, Tom. Another Tom that I'd rather play is Tom Kim. Not as nearly as bad short game wise as Tom Hoagie.
Why?
I like Tom Kim.
I like Tom Kim too. I like him in the Netflix special as well. But I mean, what is Tom Kim doing? Please enlighten me.
I like him more than Tom Hoagie, which isn't saying much. Tom Hoagie, I think, will miss the cut by 4 shots this week. I don't think he has any chance.
All right, we won't belabor this. I'll take Hoagie. You take Kim. That'll be our beer bet.
Oh no! I can take Sung J M, who's right there at the same spot.
Take
Hoagie's
that one.
at 65-1.
I'll go Hoagie against either one of them.
Okay, against M. Yeah, because you're right. Kim hasn't done anything, but I'd rather play Sung J.
Yeah, moving. So I'd keep moving down the board, but Adam Scott.
Right? How disrespectful are these odds? This dude hasn't played poorly here ever, except for that one year where he had the big lead and just blew it.
He seems to show up. I think that I think
80-1 though. That sucks. What? Why is he so long?
I can't put my finger on it. I think that there's always some accuracy issues with Adam Scott. If you look at his like fairways and regulation, greens and regulation, like he's not setting the world on fire. But he does tend to play pretty well here. And I mean, he's won here. Granted, it's been 20 years ago, which would be kind of a cool story if he won this week. But I mean, he's somehow making it happen. The putter's been good. The overall like scrambling and around the green is what's keeping him alive. And he's, T20, T7, T8, T19 over his last like 6 starts. He's got a T4, a T6. So I mean, he's right there knocking at the door. And Adam Scott is a world-class player. So you put him somewhere where he's got some comfort level. I think he keeps rolling here, and I think that's a really long number for somebody of this caliber.
Completely agree. After him, I don't really have a whole lot. Nick Taylor or EVR?
I like them both. I am very, very split right now. I think I would look
tough one, right? I knew I could toss a tough one at you.
So prior to the last like 6 weeks, I would have said Taylor hands down because there's too much water on this course.
Right. But I mean, EVR is off my dead to me island. So let's talk about it. EVR, no longer the Willow Branch. This dude's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, and he continues to rate out really well in every metric. I mean, I think it's tough. I think you got to make a decision there. I think they both are going to rate out pretty similarly. They're both relatively the same player in terms of stats. So I think I'll keep riding with EVR just because we were early to the game with EVR. I got more loyalty on that end. As long as he stays his ass out of the water. I mean, the approach game, like I said, has been solid. He had a T2 at the Cognizant. He had a T8 at Mexico. Yep. I mean, he's knocking at the door.
He should have won the Cognizant.
Well, the reason he didn't win the Cognizant is he just didn't gain enough. You know what I mean? Like he was green across the board. He just didn't have any his biggest gain was in scrambling, right? Which is great. He was getting up and down and saving his ass, but you'd like to see it in a different category. You'd like to see him exceeding expectation in scrambling, but maybe like gaining 4, 5, 6 strokes in approach or something like that. Like when you're gaining 6 or 7 strokes in scrambling, it shows you got some grit and some ability to get up and down, but I don't know that that's the metric you want to have as your hang your hat on.
How deep are you going? Because there are a couple of intriguing names here north of 100 to 1 that I don't know if they fit this place very well, but they've been playing well. Obviously, you have Matteo Favon, who until Scottie won last week was number 1 in the FedEx Cup standings. Then you have Christian Bezuidenhout, who is a really, really good short game player and accuracy player. And you have our guy, Jake Knapp, who doesn't seem to have any golf courses that bother him that much. All those guys have long odds here, and probably for good reason. But are you taking shots on anybody this deep?
I'll go back to Knapp. I think last week's probably a bit of an outlier.
You are old enough to go back and take a nap.
I probably should take a nap. I'll tell you what, man, it's been a long day. No, I think you look at what Knapp was doing prior to last week. Like, honestly, you're not going to see Jake Knapp lose 12 strokes off the tee week on week. Okay. So, I mean, everything suffered last week for Jake Knapp. There just wasn't any real signs of life. Lost almost 11 strokes.
He just made some big mistakes. He started off just fine. Like he was in contention for a little while, and then he put up a 12, and that'll kill your numbers in a hurry, won't it?
Yeah, that'll get after you pretty quick. So I'll go back to Jake Knapp. What are you showing him? I've got him 150 to 1.
Yep, 150 to 1. Pavone 130, Bez 130, and then Akshay Bhatia, another interesting fit for the course, 180 to 1. Kurt Kitayama 180 to 1, and Steve Stricker 300 to 1. And those all guys that show up kind of in the top 50 of my model that, it's not out of the realm of possibility for a long shot to win here because of all the variance. And so I'm thinking I want to take like a wide net here, cast a wide net with some smaller bets to see if any one of these guys kind of has himself a couple good days and can hold on for dear life.
I don't know if I want to cast as wide a net as you're casting, but I get what you're saying. I think in the over 100 to 1, I'm probably more going back to Rio Hasasuni, 180 to 1
last week.
And then Kevin, you also 180 to 1 are probably the two.
You I don't know.
That was gorgeous. The songbird of our generation right there. But yeah, outside of that, like I don't think I'm going to get super fancy here. Like this, you need guys that are consistent. You need guys that are accurate. You need guys that have some working knowledge of this course. Course history isn't super important this week, but I do think it's going to give people an edge.
Steve Stricker is actually 400 to 1.
I mean, I've done dumber shit with $5. I mean,
me too. $5 to win 2,000.
Yeah.
Steve Stricker is dominating on the Champions Tour, and when you don't have to worry about distance at a course like this, and he has good experience here, his short game's immaculate. I mean, he's Steve Stricker. And the form that he showed on the Champions Tour is encouraging. We forget that this guy was the prodigy right before Tiger, and he has not gone through the same injury tribulations as Tiger. Obviously, it didn't have the same peak. Nobody did. But Steve Stricker is a quality golfer that's playing great golf right now, and he has tons of good experience at this golf course. That is the one thing. I don't think course history matters here as much as course experience. Being able to figure out what Pete Dye is looking for, because if you can get inside that convoluted mind that when Pete Dye designed this place, you can get around pretty well. Like Tiger won here a couple times where you could tell that he was going to hit 2-iron stingers to a wedge distance and stick it close and make putts and scramble around when he wasn't on. And that's what I picture Steve Stricker making the cut, getting a top 20 bet on Steve Stricker is good money here. Like I could totally see that happen. Let me pull that up because I'll throw $5 on Steve Stricker outright just because YOLO.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't hate it as kind of a YOLO bet, but
Steve Stricker. I'm still scrolling. He's that far down the board.
I can't believe we're still talking about Steve Stricker.
I can't believe you're not wanting to. Yeah, this print is too small. Where are my spectacles? Plus 850 for a top 20.
I'd probably skip the top 20. I'd probably be more interested in
throw the $5.
Throw the $5 and call it a day.
$2,000. Let's do it.
Steve Stricker, that's a reach.
We love you, Steve. Steve Stricker, we love you.
Yeah, come in for us, Steve. But honestly, like I said, I'm not going super deep this week. Like that's Hisasuni is somebody that we've been on for quite a while. I think he's a good fit, and I think it's a good number on him. It's about as deep as I'm going to go.
All right, yeah, that's pretty fair. Let's see. Let's try not to slam any trunks this week. That was me last week with a couple guys. I didn't have a bad week. I had a couple good lineups. I cracked 500 with one of them, so that was decent. It was decent, right? Like I had a profitable week again in DFS. How did you do in DFS last week?
Pretty good. At one point, I was gonna have a considerable return, and then that sort of slowly faded into just barely winning my money back. So
isn't that how it works? Yeah.
But hey, plan on money this week. It's all right. It's all that matters.
No slamming trunks now.
The club is well. This would be a wrestling slam.
All right, top of the board. I think it's some guy named Scott Scheffler. You should probably get some exposure to that guy. He's pretty good.
I feel like that's a strong call, though.
Very strong to quite strong.
That's it. You come here for the hot takes.
He's going to cost you a pretty penny.
So as far as value, he's rating out hands down the best value, even at 12.8 in my model.
Still, yeah.
The problem is that 30% of our close friends also seem to think that he is the best value. So you can play him up top because there's plenty of options down below.
Right.
You just got to be pretty conscious of not eating chalks anywhere else because Scottie gonna be real chalky.
And if Scottie don't hit, you're going down.
Yeah, in a hurry.
If Scottie don't hit, you're weak as shit.
The leverage play that I'm looking at is your boy Xander, and I've got him projected sub 10 right now.
Woo-hoo, man!
So he, as far as adjusted course fit is concerned, he fits this place better than the guys priced above him in terms of Rory. So I probably would lean Xander if I wasn't going so hardcore into Scottie. Like Scottie is going to be probably one of my highest rostered players. I probably won't have a whole lot of room for Rory or Xander.
Yeah, and for me, it's going to be skipping Rory and Patrick Cantlay and Hovland because I'll have 30% Scottie. I'm going to match the field with Scottie, and then I'll have 25% JT and 20% Xander. And I'll start my lineup with that kind of balance because, again, like you said, there's so much value down below that I can kind of adjust my exposure to the top of the board to avoid being overexposed to any of them. But with Xander keeping leverage that way, I'll up him and drop JT down a little bit because JT is going to be really popular. So for me, it's going to be about getting more exposure to the mid-range guys in the next tier that won't be necessarily 30% like Scottie. Like Scottie's both of our favorite pick up top, but he is for everybody else. So we're going to have to get different other places. And I have a feeling that if we get enough different at the top, we can get a little bit more margin for error down below. And that's kind of the way I'm attacking it is I'm casting a wide net. I have a lot of guys in the pool this week. I have 45 in the pool this week, which is quite a bit larger. Just so that I can get enough exposure to the variance that we're going to experience here.
Yeah, well said. So we both obviously agree on Scottie. Who'd you say your other play up top, your main one up top is going to be?
Xander and JT. I'm gonna skip Rory and I'm gonna skip Rory and Hovland altogether, and I'm gonna maybe get 10% Patrick Cantlay.
I'm different than you. I'm going Scottie, JT, Hovland, and okay. I'm actually going to have a fair amount of Zalatoris too.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to have 10% of Zalatoris because I don't think his putting's quite good enough to do well here. But that we already talked about that. This nines group, it's hard to find guys you don't like in that range. So. Obviously, we both like Spieth. We both like Homa to a degree. Wyndham Clark is disrespected here a little bit. Hideki is a little overpriced, so he's an easy one to skip here. Morikawa's way underpriced. Ludwig is another fade for me because what has he done to earn $9,400 or $93? Like I feel like he's inflated. He's inflated everywhere.
I feel like he's getting priced in a way that like they're just trying like books and DFS are just trying to like cover their ass for when he hits because people keep betting him at these like.
He's the next thing on the PGA Tour. Everybody kind of knows who he is now, but he really hasn't done what they expect him to do yet, and it will happen. So I think you're right, but at this point, on a course like this where you're going to need a lot better short game and approach game than he's shown us to do what he needs to do to pay off at 9,300. Sam Burns 9,200 auto hit way over Ludwig there. I wish Sam Burns was 9,900 so I wouldn't have to deal with all the chalk that I'm going to deal with there at 92.
What do you got him coming? Yeah, I guess he's looking to be around 14%.
That's not bad. I'll get over my skis on Sam Burns.
See, and I
dude's
won't
a
have
machine.
I probably won't have most of these guys in the mid nines, low nines even. I'm going to be very heavily invested in Shane Lowry at 9,100, and for all the reasons we talked about in the betting section. And on top of that, like I show him,
I'm going to be so over my skis on Shane Lowry. If he flops this week, we're both screwed.
I think I'm willing to take the risk, and the nice thing too is like the projections on him. He's only around like 13 and a half. So around all the other guys that are more expensive than him by a couple $100, I mean, I'll take the salary and the rostership savings and go down to Shane Lowry, who I actually think has a really good shot at winning outright here.
Mm-hmm. Same. Yeah, and like we've been talking about, the value down below is so immense. We can do buckshot approach at the bottom of the board and just load up on these core guys in this area that we love, like Lowry, and just let it fly. Because I mean, we feel convicted about it. It's just our guy, and usually when we agree this strongly, good things happen.
Usually,
right? Usually.
I think we can get some disagreement in the eights, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. We will not disagree with Tommy Fleetwood. Like, I mean, he's probably gonna be in your pool. I think he's way overpriced. This dude's averaging 73 fantasy points. He has no business being $8,800. This dude is a $7,500 golfer in DFS. Is he good? Is he solid? Yes. Is he consistent? Yes. Is he a good player in DFS? Never. Ever. This guy never scores fantasy points.
I think
Can't stand playing him in DFS.
I think the reason that I've got interest in him is just his around the green game and his overall tee to green game. Like he's rating out in the top 7 for me in both those metrics, which I can't say for the guys around him. You know, right below him, Theegala tee to green is 57th in this field over the last 36 rounds. I mean,
that has a better short game than Fleetwood, honestly.
Yeah, but he's got a way worse approach game. Fleetwood rates out 15th, and Theegala rates out 74th. Like, and Theegala's driving accuracy is 125th in this field.
Seems bad.
Like I'm sorry, but like I can't get there on Theegala. You know, so I think in that range, I like Fleetwood a lot. Jason Day.
Here's the problem with Fleetwood. He's 5th and around the green. And other than that stat, out of all the stats that I ran my model on, he is no better than 24th in any other stat besides around the green. 24th is tee to green. 24th in tee to green. Every single other stat is worse.
You and I obviously ran our models differently because he's
we did.
He's
that concerns me. He shows up 16th overall, but I'm not seeing any spikes that give me promise that he's going to score me any fantasy points this week, much the same of what he's done all season long and part of last season. This guy's just a plotter. He's going to make the cut. He's going to probably get top 30, top 40, but that's all I can expect from him. I need more upside on my DFS lineups, so I will completely skip Tommy Fleetwood. You can take your 70 points and shove them.
Wow.
Is that strong enough?
Wow. So I will be playing Tommy Fleetwood because my maths. But moving down the board, I know neither one of us has
Ben on. We don't disagree on Ben on.
That's way down the board. But yes.
81. We're still in the 8s.
Ben on, I'm going to be heavy on. I already talked about. I like him as an outright even.
He's averaging 18 more points per game than Tommy Fleetwood.
He's projected
average,
and he's projected nicely. Like he's projected to be around 65 fantasy points this week if he doesn't win. If he does win, you can probably tack on another 30 plus points to that total. So I don't think anybody's going to be cracking the 150 mark this week, but I definitely think there's a large amount of upside with Ben on. Minwoo Lee is right below him at 8 flat. Really like that. He's actually projected to score more fantasy points than Ben on is. So again, for a guy that we've been betting for quite a while that has the chops to win this outright, I really love Ben On and Minwoo Lee right there together, and 8,100 and 8,000 flat. Those are good fillers for the middle of your roster.
Yep, I agree with all those things. Do you have any more in the mid-eights that you want to yell at me about?
I already told you I don't understand Tom Kim, so we can skip that. No, the only guy
that was just giving you crap.
The only guy in there that we kind of glossed right over is Russell Henley. I would probably have some shares of him.
Not a lot though.
No, he's projected at like around 12%. So I think you can do just a couple of Henley lineups here and there. Because I think there's upside with him in terms of a DK scoring ability. If his approach game gets going, he's very, very consistent, very, very accurate from time to time. He does tend to play better in the wind, so he might be one of those ace up the sleeves if you need to fill out kind of a mid-tier player that's got a bad draw. You just kind of hope it's Russell Henley.
Yeah, we're back to the very wide scoring here. So I just noticed that. I was like, oh yeah, why do we have so many points available here? It's like, yeah, you have guys all the way down at 5 flat.
So in the sevens, I will tell you what I'm absolutely not doing, and that's playing a 20% projected roster Tom Hoagie.
Yeah.
So
see, he does have common sense, guys. I try to tell you that despite what Connor comes across as sometimes is completely unreasonable, he's actually a smart guy.
I've been known to have a couple of pearls of wisdom here and there. But here's the thing with Tom Hoagie. Like, I understand the value. I understand why people are gravitating towards him. I know you don't necessarily agree with me, but I think I'm going to cover my bases just betting the outright on Tom Hoagie. I'll just throw a modest bet at that and hope that hits. And if I get burned in DFS, I'll make my money on the betting side. 20% Tom Hoagie at $7,800. You're just asking for problems.
That's bad. That's really bad. Keegan Bradley's here. I'm not a big fan DFS wise. He's another grinder that doesn't score points. Brian Harmon surprisingly scores plenty of points for his price, getting a lot less love than Hoagie. So is Eric Cole. So is Adam Scott and Chris Kirk and Keith Mitchell. Cashmere Keith plays well on Bermuda all the time. Are you overlooking Cashmere Keith?
Love Keith Mitchell this week. And
I knew we could find common ground here because Cashmere Keith is who Tom Hoagie wishes he was.
Ain't that the truth? No, Keith Mitchell's actually been playing really well. Like I was kind of
he's a Bermuda killer. He's the Bermuda killer.
I was kind of surprised when I ran the modeling and he was popping all over the place. Not because he's like a bad golfer. He's got a great off the tee game. He's very accurate. His approach game can be insane. We all know that his short game is not good.
Not.
But
not.
But Keith Mitchell, like you just alluded to, Bo, if we had to pick him somewhere, you're going to want him on Bermuda, which is what this is. He's got some decent results around this track. So I think Keith Mitchell at that price is a pretty good play. And like I said, one of the biggest things that I would look at. What?
Good. Yeah, that's just laughing. You're putting on a tee for me, so continue.
I was just gonna round that out with, like I said, one of the biggest things that I was looking at this week is the off the tee strokes gained off the tee, and his last start of the Cognizant. I mean, you're looking at a guy that gained almost 5.5 strokes off the tee, and paired that up with almost 2.5 strokes on approach. So, and he also gained on the putting green, which is not weird to say about Keith Mitchell very often.
Yeah, so I was just going to joke that Keith Mitchell uses the players to tune up for the Valspar, which is mind-boggling, but it's true because Keith Mitchell plays the shit out of the Valspar every year. He loves Innisbrook, so I mean, this is his warm-up at TPC Sawgrass for next week.
I'm going to be so overweight on Keith Mitchell. It's either going to go so right or so wrong.
Rounding out the sevens, our guy EVR, Ricky Fowler's down here for some reason. Oh yeah, it's because he's playing like absolute dog shit lately. Alex Noren is the stat darling, doesn't ever do anything.
I actually kind of have some interest in Noren here.
He's a sucker. He's a sucker bet. I don't like that.
I wouldn't bet him, but I'll roster him a little bit in DFS. He's actually been playing pretty decent. And
are we doing Nikolai Højgaard instead?
I wouldn't fight you for it. I think Højgaard's been kind of
short game.
I don't know.
A good short game.
I think I actually like Noren better than Højgaard, to be honest.
Okay.
This week.
It's fair. You know who models better than both of them? That I can't believe? Cam Davis. Weird, right?
Well,
we're always saying trust the numbers, but I see Cam Davis towards the top, and I don't want to trust the numbers.
I don't show him rating out that well, at least not my model. He's fine in there. Like, I actually would trust him more than Højgaard. I think I would trust him more.
20th in my model. What happened here? He's right above Ludwig Aubert and Cam Young in my model.
Yeah, see, he's quite a ways down in mine. But like I said, in this price range, Cam Davis has had like really good streaks of brilliance. So I would trust him more than Højgaard and Rose. I think right there in that area, though, I probably would have more interest in Jake Knapp, and I definitely would in DFS would have more interest in Nick Taylor right below him.
Yeah, Nick Taylor also averaging more fantasy points than Tommy Fleetwood. 8 more.
It's just trash. You'd think I said Tony Finau.
Right. Well, Tony Finau's underpriced, but I'm still not playing him. He's absolutely disrespected at his current price in DFS, and we're still not playing him. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, I got
Bo Hostler rates out well here. He's been playing well this season. Pretty cheap option down to 6,800. Mathieu Pavon et Francois, 6,700 for Pavon, our hottest golfer on the planet candidate for this season. Decent showing last week, not his best, but still hung around 52nd, made the cut, had a rough weekend, 76 on the weekend. Doesn't do wind well. We learned that about Pavon last week. The wind picked up, and we waved au revoir to Mathieu Pavon.
Well said, sir. Well said.
Yeah. Au revoir, monsieur.
Oh man, here's another guy that's gonna
Billy Horschel
probably end up screwing me, but Doug Gim. I'm gonna play a lot of Doug Gim.
No chance.
He's a great course fit. He rated out. I think it was I'm trying to refresh my screen. Rated out 11th in terms of adjusted course fit for me, and
35th on mine.
I didn't say in my model. I said in course fit. But if you look at
par fives, he's good at par fives, man.
Good at par fives. Tends to be a pretty good putter. Approach game has been absolutely going wild lately. So if you look at what he's done, T16, T8, T12, T13, his last 4 starts, just overall total strokes gained. I mean, you're looking at a guy who's averaging 7.5 to the field every single round or every single week. So he's in very good form, and again, he's an accuracy guy. Off the tee is solid, approach is solid, and he's got some scrambling chops to go with it. So down there at that price point for a guy that's actually in really solid form right now, and rates out as being in the top for adjusted course fit, I'm going to go to Doug Gim.
All right. Kurt Kitayama or Austin Eckroat?
I would go Eckroat.
Yeah, I agree. Putting is Kitayama's short game, his scrambling is great, but around the green overall, like when you kind of take everything into account, it drops off quite a bit. And wedge game, not as strong as it was last year. He's going to struggle with the wedge approach game. Still great with a long iron. So on those holes, you'll see some good Kitayama, but he looked bad last week, like real bad. Like it was weird how he goes and wins the damn thing and then like blows up on Thursday right off the bat. He was done immediately. Front nine on Thursday. That was it. That was all right. Well, Kurt, it's been fun.
I think the problem with Kitayama is always going to be that we're not going to be able to know when he's going to pop. I mean, you're just not going to know. He's got like this really eclectic skill set week to week.
He does.
And so like I like him. I like watching him. He does some really neat stuff with ball flight, shot shaving, all that stuff. Like he's and he's a solid dude. Like we'll root for him every week. But as far as him getting money out of my wallet anymore, like it's really hard to invest in him because I can't get a read on when
the consistency is frustrating.
You can send him a message, let him know I said that. Maybe he'll go out and win.
He probably will, just to spite you.
That's
Akshay Bhatia. Any interest in Bhatia at 6,200? His wedge game is fantastic. Can't putt. Like it's rough, but 6,200 down here. You're probably playing Rio at the same price, right?
Yeah. I'm not an Akshay believer.
Down here you got Kevin Yu, ball striker extraordinaire with absolutely zero short game. Still worth a shot in DFS because he can score in bunches, right?
I'll have some Kevin Yu. I'll have some Aaron Rai. I'll have some Rio. That's probably a pretty good representation of what I'm doing down here. I'll throw a couple of shots at Justin Suh and Brandon Woo's down here, but that's
Dylan.
Yeah, and Dylan. Yeah, I mean, I don't plan on being down here often. I really don't. I'm going to try to stay at 6,400 is about as low as I'm.
Steve Stricker, 52.
If you've got to be down there, that's probably a good play.
Bad sign. That's a bad sign.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably honestly I probably would take more shots at maybe like Ches Reavie or is Ches even still in those?
I don't think so, but yeah, wedge players, good wedge players.
Oh, he is in the field. He's 1,000 to 1.
I haven't done dumber things with $5 than that.
No. Well, I think we are rapidly going off the rails talking about Ches Reavie.
So who's going to win this damn thing, and why is it Shane Lowry at 17 under par?
Since you took Shane, even though you and I are very much in lockstep, I'm going to go with the other guy who I think we both agree on, and I'll say JT at 18.
Let's go. 18 under for you. First round leader, Scottie Scheffler. He's so hot right now.
He is so hot right now. I'll do something spicy. I'm going to go Oberg.
Okay. I can see it.
He's
got firepower.
Yeah, just some I don't think he'll hold up, but I think he could come out and shoot good depending on.
Yeah. He's got the talent. We know that.
There's a spicy one. I don't think he's anywhere near the top 10 at the end of the weekend, but I think he could come out and
have a Thursday story, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next week is the Valspar at Innisbrook, still in Florida. The logo looks like Chubbs's gator on your hat there, except it's a copperhead. The Copperhead course at Innisbrook.
I almost got mauled by a gator.
You probably shouldn't be messing around the water hazards, but you were. I know you were.
Should have told that story at the beginning. I'll tell that story next week.
Yeah, it'll be apt for Innisbrook because there's some swampland down there at the Copperhead course.
I've never seen a gator move so quick. I'm just that's
or you never seen yourself move so slow.
I was in a freaking golf cart. There you go. That's your cliffhanger. Tune in next week for the exciting conclusion.
All right, from Conor Coughlin, of course, and Bo McBrayer. Join us next week for the Copperhead course at Innisbrook for the Valspar, which is like apparently a paint company. This has been the 19th hole. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Oh my God, I had it too, and it went away. There it is.